Greetings, humanity, and welcome to Channel Other Doc. I am Jim. I use he/him pronouns, and this is the Boiling Point, the Friday night arc of our Waking Nightmares campaign of Don't Rest Your Head, a game by Fred Hicks of Evil Hat Productions. This is a supernatural horror game in which the Insomniac characters have been awake for so long they've developed strange abilities and can freely interact with a realm of living nightmares. We are going to go around and, as you can see, we're now going to see what was happening to Katrina while everything else was going on last week. So we're going to go around and say hi to those with us this evening, and feel free to see who they are and who they're playing. And we start with Krimsin. Hello.
Hey y'all, I'm Crimson Galaxy, that is Krimsin, because I'm not me without a little bit of sin. My pronouns are they, them, she, and they, and I am a non-binary, trans-feminine gamer and streamer. You can find me on Twitter at sin_gal, you can find me on Instagram and here on Twitch at crimson_galaxy_RPG. And I'm playing Katrina Wales tonight, who's just a couple steps away from taking the plunge into full-on nightmare mode. So let's get that started.
Yes, this will be quite interesting. Yes. And now we will head over to our guest today, Alyx. Hello.
Hello, thank you for having me, Jim. Always a delight. I am Alyx, they, and I will be playing a nightmare called The Host this evening. A parasitic force that delights in beautiful performances and will punish those who dare to put on a terrible performance in front of it. I'm very excited to see where we go this evening.
I can't wait. All right. This is gonna be interesting. So we got a little bit of a smaller group this evening. It may not be quite as long as our usual shows, but I just sort of want to see I just want to see what happens. That's basically where I am with this. You may see us use safety tools from time to time, like we do with the other games on this channel. We're going to be using the X card, the N card, and the O card. If we hit something that's crossing a line for one of us, any of us can type an X in the Zoom video chat or anywhere else. Hold up a card, make an X symbol, and we'll back up and do something else. If something happens that we're okay having in the game, but we don't want a graphic description of it, we can type an N in the Zoom chat, and we'll fade to black on it or put it behind a veil, so it'll be there, but we won't go into detail. Finally, if we're exploring a topic or an area of roleplay that's particularly intense for us, but we want to keep going, we can put an O in the chat to let us know that we're okay and that we're all good to keep piling on the drama. Something else we can do is put an O with a question mark after it when we're moving into a difficult topic, or if we say or we do something and then think, maybe that might have been a little too much. Then everyone else can respond to that with an X, an N, or an O to let us know if we're still doing okay. We're also using the pause. If any of us needs to take some time, we can ask for a pause in the game while we discuss things, or just take a break for as long as anyone needs. As a reminder, just a few content warnings. This game has the potential for discussions of physical and mental debilitation, insomnia, death, law enforcement, nightmares, body horror, addiction, being stalked and chased by supernatural beings, and other horrific themes. The game has mechanics related to states arising from sleep deprivation, referred to in-game as exhaustion, madness, scars, and fight-or-flight responses, but places the expression of those states squarely in the hands of the players. If at any point you want to see that information and you're watching on Twitch, you can go in the chat and type !DRYH, don't rest your head, CW for content warning. And that will show up there. It's also going to be on rotation, so it should pop up fairly regularly in chat. And finally, please remember that we have an open door policy, which means that any of us and any of you can feel free to step away from this at any time if we need to. It is just a game, and mental health is always more important. So, we need to kind of recap a little to see where we were. Previously, Katrina and Lila, two musicians who are currently in the Mad City, the place where the nightmares live. We're going to see we're on their way to see a nightmare called The Broadcast. Now, the others, there are two other folks in the group, Dara and Luca. They made it to the Broadcast's building early, and they watched a documentary, and things happened there. And Lila ended up accompanying them. But prior to that, Katrina and Lila had been through a few things as they were trying to get there. They were dealing with rail riders and a steam creature that attacked them, and then also there was, I believe, a being once in the media district. They ran into a being with a musical chop shop, run by a being with a CD's head that was soundly trounced by Katrina. And Katrina now has a boombox. It's just went in and grabbed it.
To be clear, Katrina totally thought that they were ripping apart another nightmare and thought that the boombox was a nightmare, so she was trying to protect someone from being disassembled.
Oh,
and
yes,
then
absolutely.
Once she walked in and saw it, she was like, oh, this is just a boombox, but they just asked me if it's mine. Yeah, it's mine.
Yeah. I mean, it's a fair enough assumption to make. But that had happened, and then they were on their way. And now I'm going to, Krimsin, I need to ask you something. And that is that, so something has caught Katrina's attention. Something caught Katrina's attention. It's right now, by the way, I should say it's late in the 11 o'clock hour, roughly. Something caught Katrina's notice that caused her to separate from Lila on their way to the broadcast media building. Whatever this was, ultimately is something that ended up leading her to a different part of the city. And I'm wondering if you have any thoughts about what that was.
Yeah, honestly, I think that it might have been like some people who seemed new to the Mad City potentially being chased by some unsavory fascists without faces.
Ah, okay. That's definitely a thing that we can play with. So, this means that we are looking at more of. Let me grab them here. More of the press gang. These are the press gang workers. That these faceless creatures. This you have kind of seen that there's essentially, so there's a group, I want to say, of about let's see, where shall we go with this? We'll go here. There's a group of about, we'll say, that too much? That might be too much. Let me segue into something else. It was just looking at the music I was playing. I was like, wait a minute, no, that's too much. So we'll say this was a group of just like a couple of people who just sort of have been kind of, they just got into the city. They're sort of stumbling around a little exhausted. They're both wearing black. These couple of people, it seems as though rather early on, they're being pursued by these faceless beings in this kind of Victorian workers' garb. It's further on the it's away from where you want to go. It's actually closer to, we'll say it's, where did you come from to get here? You came from the,
I know we were right next to the re-education. No, that was before we even went to the church that was turned into the house. I think we were just on our way to the media district, but hadn't quite made it there yet.
Yeah, okay. Interesting. All right. So... yeah, so this is going to be something that's more on the outer edge of the media district. Is kind of where you see this happening. Mm-hmm. And they're being pursued by about half a dozen workers, as they're running between these different media buildings. So what would you like to do?
I would like to pursue and potentially try to help out the kids.
Cool. Let me just put something in here. And so yeah, basically you've got like about they've got like about, you said about there are about 6 of these workers currently out there. And so that means that they're each. Yeah, so this is going to be a pain of about 6 if you want to try to catch up with them, and try to start dealing with them as these things go. So, would you like to? Here, if there's a particular, yeah. No, that'll work. I'm going to be rolling 6 pain dice. Is there anything you want to add to this, or how do you want to do it?
Yeah, I'm going to add 4 additional madness, because why not? And
sure.
What I'm going to be trying to do as I catch up to them with my aura of basically controlling feeling and emotion is I'm going to try to make these press gangers feel like there is no point in chasing these newbies to the Mad City, and that it's all hopeless and that there's nothing for them to do but sit and wither.
Okay.
If that's okay.
Yeah, no, I think that'll work. You just enshroud them in despair.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll be just fine. Excellent.
Yeah. Ow. Oh, fuck. Well, lower successes, yeah?
Yeah, 1, 2, and 3 are successes.
So I rolled 10 dice. I got 1 success.
Righto. Let's see. I got 2 successes.
All right. But if you want to be clear, for me, let's see, 1 6 in discipline, 2 6s in exhaustion, but 2 6s and 2 5s in madness.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's the interesting thing is once you get to this point, there is a definite sort of downward spiral that begins to happen. So yes, the madness is dominating once again. So,
yeah.
Which response would you like to check off?
Fight.
Okay.
I'm chasing them to fight them. So that makes sense.
Awesome. So yes. Let me see here. So this is where it gets interesting because then... So, yeah, there are a few different things that are happening now. Given the direction that they're running in and what's happening now. Oh boy. So it's so here's the first thing, because you're going to ultimately catch up with them, but it's going to hurt a little. So I'm also, since I won the roll, I'm going to ask you to take another point of exhaustion, please.
Okay. Fine.
And so they are running toward this district that I need to grab a reference real quick that I can make use of here. As you hit the edge of the media district, you're going to see that the outer edge, you're going to see that they are that across from you there is a long wall. This is not like the Necropolis wall.
Okay.
And this is across the street that you're seeing this, by the way. Looks like it's a long brick wall, and there are a few different doors in it, but that all look kind of strange and out of place. They don't look like each other. There's like a metal door. There's like a green door. There's a black door, and it's what looked like saloon doors at some point. But
what is the energy off of those doors feeling like?
So it is a strange jumble. That, like, it feels like some of these doors might lead to other places in the Mad City, but some of them do lead into this structure. They have not run into the structure. I need to make this clear. They are running right now. The two people dodged across the street in these, and the point where you're starting to catch up is that these is where the workers are also trying to cross the street. There's a decent amount of traffic here. Cars of all manner of different designs, and there are people here again walking back and forth in the streets. But yeah, across the way, it's they're running the two newcomers are running kind of alongside this and are trying to and looks like they're trying to decide whether to go in. The doors that do go in to this structure, there's also this vibe of this vibe of strange kind of complexity. And what is the word I'm looking for? Ambivalence?
Okay.
It's very odd. You're getting kind of low-level feelings off of that whole structure. It's weird. But from what you can see, just in general, yeah, this goes on for this. Whatever district that is going to go on for several blocks before you hit the next district. But you have at this point gotten within within fairly close distance of the. You're not very far behind the these 6 running workers at this point.
Well, if that's the case, and they're kind of like stopped trying to wait for a lull in traffic to cross the street,
Mhm.
I'm just gonna run up and push one of them into the others. That way it draws their attention to me since my power failed. And then I'm gonna turn and take off in the other direction.
Okay.
Or you know what? I got a boombox in my hand.
This
I'm
is
gonna
true.
throw the boombox at them.
I love this. Okay. And so basically this is, again, hurling it at one of them and then trying to get them to follow you. You're trying to get all of them to follow you, presumably, with this maneuver.
Yes.
So this, again, will be a pain of 6.
Okay, this time I have 4 exhaustion dice. That's brutal. And I dropped one of those. And my 2 Fermi Madness. And you know what? This time I'm gonna roll 5 of the non-permanent madness because I'm
Really?
desperate here. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
And this time with my power, I'm gonna try to fill them with anger. That way they get mad enough to chase me.
Okay. This will be interesting.
That's more like it. Is it just 1s and 2s that are successes?
That's right. 1s, 2s, and 3s.
Alright, well, this time I think I have as many successes as they have dice. Yeah, 6 successes.
Okay.
And, yeah, 3 6s and a 5 in my madness school.
Jesus. You're getting pretty close. You know, I've got some to spare here. I could slow that down a bit if I wanted to.
Oh, you'd have to spend a lot of it.
I'd have to spend, I'd have to spend it. I'd have to spend, yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, you would have to spend 4 just to make pain dominate, but then you'd have to take away your successes to make that happen.
Well, actually, it'd just be adding them to the pool. I wouldn't necessarily even have to take away success. I mean, you've got me beat either way. But what do you have in? Just out of curiosity, what do you have in exhaustion?
2 1s, a 3, and a 5.
Okay. And you've got 3 6s in madness, and what else?
A 5 and a 4, and then a 1 and a 2.
Okay. Yeah, that's basically I'd have to take out most of my despair pool if I wanted to try to affect that. So we have madness dominating again. What is your final response?
It's flee.
Well, luckily that's happening.
Yep.
All right. So you're running. Before you run, you hurl this boombox at them, and you're spending. What does this look like, by the way? This use of this power. You were successful. What do we see?
I think that since the boombox can also create music and therefore can technically alter the mood of things, I kind of push a little bit of my power into the boombox before throwing it. So as it hits, it lets out like a percussive wave almost, but it is just like the energy that I emanate that lets me alter moods, essentially. Change people's that shit. So essentially it's just going to hit, and it's just gonna look like sound waves blasting out of the speakers before it slams into one of them, breaks apart, and hits another two of them, and then they just become so overcome with rage and anger that it turns their attention, and they start to try to follow me.
Okay. So, you turn, and you are running in the opposite direction now. You are heading now towards the back towards the corner. You see a corner coming up in front of you. And you can kind of glance over your shoulder. You see that those couple of people have fled into the structure. They've turned and they've fled in. But all 6 of these folks are now running after you. You have a corner coming up, where you can see this this intersection. So ahead of you on the right is the Penitence District, and ahead of you on the left is the Necropolis. You actually recognize the you recognize it. You've been there. And this side of town, there actually is no cop there right now directing traffic at this one. This one just has the traffic lights. And you've got just enough of a lead that you can time it with the light, you think, if you need to. How do you want to tackle this?
Yeah, I'm just gonna keep running for now and just like try to get through with the light. And as I'm doing that, I still have an item from last season that might be of help to me in this situation. I'm gonna reach into my pocket and pull out the business card from the Society of Angles.
Yes.
And I'm going to be like, if you can help me escape them, I will owe you a boon equal to this in the future, whatever you wish. As I'm running, I say that into the card.
Okay. So, you run across the street just as the light is turning, and you're going to when you get across on the side of the Penitence District, there's a point where you see someone. They're wearing just sort of a long kind of duffel coat. Up ahead of you they've just stepped out from behind what looks like just out of an alley. You see them step forward, and they've got they've got kind of they've got like spiked hair, but it is immaculate. And this person stepping out looks immaculate, and there's this little sheen that comes across them as they do so. And they step out, they look at you, they see you coming, they see the people pursuing you, and they're like,
I follow.
And you come out, you see that it's one of those things where it's weird. This person has not said a word. They're just kind of smiling and kind of doing this strange almost like a little. They're doing a little dance as they're backing into what looks like it's on the side of this. But again, it's a church-like building, but it's got sort of a buttressed office building, and they're just stepping backwards towards the corner of where the buttress meets the side of the wall. And as they're sort of dancing, going backwards, they reach their arms out, smiling.
All right, I do it. Fuck it. It's too late to be cautious now.
All right, you take their arms.
Sure.
They crack a grin, and for a moment, it's like you can hear. It's so there's this stained glass window that's just above a little bit. That seems to vibrate for a moment. You can kind of hear the glass vibrating, and it's in this sort of almost this music. I'm guessing it might be a sort of a semi-thrumming type thing. We'll see. And as you grab hold, they grin, and the two of you step into the corner. It is a very strange sensation. It is a feeling of it's like I guess the best way that I can put this is sort of like, say, in like a Doctor Strange movie or a Christopher Nolan movie, where the buildings are moving around in a way that they should not be moving around. Essentially,
Doctor Strange, nice.
Yeah, there's this thing where the bricks are stacking around in the opposite direction, and as you're stepping back and back into an area you shouldn't be able to step. And it's like they're kind of pressing in on you. There's this feeling of compression, but it's not like the bricks, the stones are physically touching you. It is very strange. But then there's this sort of like, almost, it's not the noise, but it's sort of this feeling of like, this kind of thing where you sort of like getting ejected from a tube, or it's where it's like there's a lot of pressure, and then the pressure is released as the bricks of a building clack into place behind you, and you are standing at a corner, at a street corner, and you can hear sort of music drumming from very close. You realize for a second, okay, this is the market district. As you're looking around real quick, you see shops. And as you see, just sort of looking to your left, you see a familiar looking door, a revolving door, and a marquee above it that says Princess Darkness.
Interesting.
Now,
thanks for getting me here. I owe you. And I'll have the power to make good on that. Probably soon.
Nods, and he says, "Oh, just sort of will say after a moment, they'll say, feel free to come in for a bit if you like. I was just going to go dancing for a bit."
Oh, I'm going in for sure. I think if one of the stages is open, I might need to play a little bit.
Smiles and says, "I'd love to hear that." And they go in,
I go in too.
Okay, so Alyx, what do we see inside?
When you walk in, you are higher than the dance floor. Somehow this place is more subterranean than it appeared from outside. You're on a platform, like a catwalk, and down one way is a spiral staircase that will take you to the revelry below. But if you stay up there and watch, you will see bodies moving and twisting and dancing and pulsing with the heavy beat of the music that's playing around them. And if you watch closely, you will notice something odd about the way they move and the way they look. They are metallic and shimmer like oil. They are wet looking, but they are bodies. They have hair, long braids or pigtails, but no faces you can see. There is the suggestion of features, and now and then a bright mouth in red or purple or silver or gold. If there are eyes, you cannot tell. They move like they can see. They dance like they can hear songs. And they are ecstatic to be doing this, and they have been doing this for a very long time. The place is well lit. There are bars. There are stages. There is a DJ halfway up one wall, playing. You cannot see its face. It has a large draconic head. Something almost crystalline about it. Fractal. It reflects the light and the bodies below.
This is an interesting vibe. Katrina just looks around a little bit and then just walks up to the main bar on this level.
What would be appropriate for the or would this level have a bar? What's up here?
Oh, it would have a bar. My question to you, dear facilitator of game, how familiar are you with latex?
I am familiar with the concept.
Excellent.
Somewhat.
So, there is a server donned in such garb of your choice. It can be form-fitting, it can be draping. It is only a material made of rubber, and it can be cut in many ways. All of the dancers are hooded. It is up to you whether or not you are as well.
I think that the bartender for this is wearing, it's kind of what seems like a latex hoodie type deal. Would it be appropriate for the latex hoodie to have ears also? Would that be functional? They do.
That is highly functional. Up to you if you'd like them to be inflatable or made of just heavy duty rubber. Both are options.
I think they're probably they have this thing where they look like they're sort of heavy duty, but they seem to move in a way as though they're actually like real, apparently, which is kind of odd because there is what looks like a relatively human person under there. You think? And they nod. They have sort of a wan smile on their face. They are serving people. There's going to be a fair number of people in here, a decent number of people in here because of the hour. So I mean, people will when 13 is approaching, people will run to the bars for for safety. and so you'll see there are a number of folks here, customers, but there's still space around, which means that but it's probably going to be filling up within the next hour. And the person behind the bar just sort of again smiles and will. Is there a menu present?
There is, but most order off menu. There are cocktails listed for those who are curious to try such things. The Silver Drop, the Golden Sunshine, the one that just says, "Give me all the pills."
And so the bartender just basically like, what do you desire?
This place has a familiar vibe. Does it happen to be one of the host spots?
She smiles a little more widely. You think you can kind of hear the smile. It's a little... anyway. And just nods once.
Does it happen to be around?
And I guess that is a question. Do the employees permitted to say or even know such things?
Oh, like the host would ever give such direct guidance to ones who serve it.
So,
what would this employee say?
This employee will say, oh. Can't you feel it?
Do I?
The host melts away from the crowd and comes to stand behind you when you say that, and lightly brushes a finger against your shoulder to catch your attention.
I look over my shoulder and see you.
It
And then
stands.
just kind of lean back as I turn. And just lean back against the bar. Hey, how are you? How's business been?
All the better for having seen you. It stands a little over 6 feet, not quite 7. It is garbed in mesh latex from head to toe. Its face is a mask of silver and black, pieced together to form almost a mirror puzzle. And it has 2 long ombre pigtails. And it tilts its head to knock its pigtails to the side. And if you look down, you'll see it is wearing heelless, what might be shoes, but could also be its feet. And it looks at you, and there is a small smile on its lips.
As it's looking at me, what it actually sees is someone who's already begun to change pretty dramatically at this point, having already taken 2 of the 3 steps necessary to be a nightmare herself. Katrina now stands closer to 6 feet tall. Her looks have somehow become more beautiful. Like her face is just smoother in an odd way that just seems almost ageless. And the main thing that you can feel in the difference is you can feel her energy around her like an aura.
Host notices this and raises one hand, knuckles out, to caress that aura that is about you. That you have become larger. That you have become more since last we'd spoken. And it smiles wider. You've been busy.
I've been trying. There's been a lot of shit going on, and I'm not one to let bad things happen to undeserving people.
You have a sense of justice.
Yeah, but it mostly stems from this anger that's inside me that doesn't want to seem to let go.
And why would you want to let go of such a beautiful thing?
That's a great point. Truth is, I don't. I want to destroy everyone who tries to hurt innocent people.
The host grins with teeth and walks closer to you, closing what little millimeter is left to place both hands on the bar behind you. And somehow is still not touching you, but is so close. Would you be vengeance? Would you punish the wicked?
I would. And I am.
Many say that they would.
I think I've proven it through my actions.
You have done. And it leans down to whisper against your ear. Small things hurt
You're
the
right.
ones you can touch.
You're right.
See the bodies behind me? You know how much they hurt right now? I punish them because they are wicked, and it pleases me to make them suffer.
Nice.
Would
I
you
have an idea.
Do you? Tell me.
Yeah. Well, last time I performed for you, I just kind of took the energy that was already there and channeled it. I kind of want to do something dramatic as the clock strikes 13.
With that, if you allow it, it will put its lips against your neck and say very softly, with breath cold as ice, "You do this. There is no going back."
Who wants to go back? Ever since I left, I've been trying to get back here.
It licks your neck lightly and stands and turns. And with a finger gestures to the DJ, who stops. And as soon as it stops, everyone dressed in latex collapses to the floor, panting and sobbing and crying, "No more, no more, please, no more."
What
And
are their sins?
Does it matter? Do you care? What is considered a sin today may be salvation tomorrow. I am fluid with the times.
Well, in my opinion, the philosophy that I've developed over time is not static. It does not change. It is absolute. And I know that there's a lot of philosophers that talk about there's no such thing as non static morals. But my morality is based on, are you willing to hurt other people for your own self interest? If the answer is yes, you are wicked.
It is such a complicated question, and it gestures for you to follow.
I follow.
What if one must hurt others to survive?
That's different. If you have to survive, you have to survive.
Hmm.
I'm
Yes.
saying self interest in a way that let's look at it in the terms of how the waking world functions, the sleeping world functions. Yeah? If you are willing to exploit a single person to make yourself money or gain power over more people, that's just about one of the worst things you could do.
The host laughs, and it is a sharp and brittle sound. I have never understood the concept of money. You have noticed no such thing as worth value to me or my establishments. I find it funny, the
Well,
dumb and violent things you creatures do for it.
I find it ridiculous and hilarious and sad and honestly most of the emotions except for happy, except for caring, except for empathetic.
Mhm.
My morality is based on a lot what this club is based on. Consent. I remember that from last time. If you are willing to ignore someone's consent, that makes you worthless.
Hmm. Well, then here, and we are at the stage below beneath the DJ, and if you so choose, soon that will be your stage. The host looks and turns and gestures to the masses, the ones clad, the ones suffering. And then, of course, there are the visitors who come to watch, come to dance alongside them. Each of these came to me over countless. I do not know how long I have been here. Countless.
Do you mind if I
If you what?
how about a hug?
Let me tell you what I am, and then you'll decide if you want something as banal as a hug. I am a virus that took root in this shell, in this great mad city so long ago. So long ago that I do not remember what this shell once was, who it was. It was consensual. I was a virus and it was enamored of me. And we have been for so long 1.
That's
Now,
beautiful.
here is what I do. The ones who dance and weep, the ones who suffer upon my stages, they come to me. I tell them what I am capable of. That if I infect, I can consume and destroy all of the horrible things I am capable of. And they say, yes, do this for me. I want, I need, I will give you anything. And I tell them, fine. Come perform in my clubs until I am satisfied. And they are still performing because I am never satisfied. Now,
Mm.
do you still want of me?
You know, I think as long as it's just because you are you does not make you any less deserving of compassion, of kindness, of honestly love. Obsession is not love, but you deserve just as much as anyone else. And if you would like a hug or more, you may ask it of me.
The host is going to put 2 fingers under your chin and lean beside your other ear and press its lips with that cold, cold air. You speak to me like I am human, like I want for such things. I know I am adored and I am loved. No, Katrina, what I find perplexing and delightful about you is that anger wrapped in compassion. So go upon my stage and please me with your screaming, and then we'll see what might come next.
As you're in close this time, Katrina's gonna reach her hand up to the side of your face and then just like look into your eyes. I'm down for that, but I'm going to change, and then who knows who I'll be. I just thought I'd offer you this last bit of humanity.
Not your humanity that I find desirable. So go shed that shell, and let's see what's left. And since you turned its
Sounds good.
face and you touched it, it will deign to press in close and lightly lick your bottom lip.
That's legit her response. She just breathes heavy and kind of like almost falls. Uh, yeah, okay, that sounds good. Yeah, it's time. I've been meaning to do this. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah. I'm gonna take the stage with my guitar that still has the string of the host.
Okay. You stride onto the stage. Everything is still eerily quiet aside from the sounds of, what was it, moaning, lamenting, crying that sometimes you're hearing from just very softly, for the people on the floor. And what kind of thing, as we are looking at Katrina possibly in this way, perhaps for the last time, what do we see you doing? What do we see and what do we hear?
This is the big stage, right?
It's the only stage in this place, and the DJ will help you in any way it needs, and anything you need for your great performance will manifest itself upon that stage.
It's gonna broadcast across the entire city.
If you want to be so bold, we can
I
even
think that's
broadcast
the
into
point.
I'll have to show you the trick where next we might broadcast into the dreams of the ones who should be hearing such sounds.
And with that, Katrina's gonna take the stage. And what you see is a moment of contemplation, but no hesitation. She plugs her guitar in, takes a microphone on the mic stand, and begins to play, inviting the DJ to partake, to help create the soundscape. And this time, what she's going to do is begin with the feeling of the city. And from that, she is going to morph it. She's going to change the sound. She's going to change the energy of the entire city, of, at least for the moment she's playing, it's going to change how the city feels as a whole, from what it is to one that is angry yet compassionate and has that anger that's fueled from its compassion, like Katrina herself has. She is going to play in a way that brings up the raw emotions of empathy and anger and just Nazi punks fuck off.
You want let's see. I could throw a thing behind this, although I'm almost afraid to because I don't want to spoil the moment. You want?
Let's hear your idea.
You want faster? You want medium, or do you want soft?
I think it's gonna start soft and slowly transition into a fast, upbeat, anger-filled, just metal almost, but more industrial than that. And it's slowly going to shift from that into something more of a full-on rage,
Okay.
full-on inferno of an inferno of furious compassion.
Okay. So, perhaps perhaps when the DJ is providing things, you'll hear something that sounds a little bit like this. It's just sort of a starting thing. And then, as the tension rises and things get faster and things increase and the rage begins to break, he will pull in more threads. More and more threads will start to appear. And will ultimately transition into more raw emotion than anything else. And everyone's pulses, you can tell, those who are down below, if they are permitted to get back up and dance, they will, but if they are not, they will continue to lie there.
They are forced to dance whenever there is music.
Ah, excellent. And that is what happens. Rather almost, at first, like marionettes trying too hard to keep up. They will jolt around, jostle around. Some of them are better at it than others. There's a demon down there, a blue demon with wide horns that seems to be keeping up incredibly well. But this music enwraps them, engages them, and pulls forth their rage. It rises. And a very palpable force, Katrina, as you can see it. Because you can see this energy is moving up and up. Now this is what you're about to try. You're trying to send this out to the city itself.
The entire city and everyone in it.
That is going to be very difficult.
It's my prerogative.
So I'm going to just basically pull in the highest anyone can reach at this point. The only way this would be more difficult is if this were during the 13th hour. It is only the end of the 11th hour almost, not quite 12. So it's a little bit easier than it would be otherwise. And yet, the pain will be 12.
Okay. I'm gonna roll all of my madness dice with this. Which means I have 13 total dice. I'm gonna do it.
All right.
Not the best, but not the worst. 6 successes.
Well, on my pain dice, I have rolled 8 successes. That doesn't mean you're unsuccessful, but it may mean that this may be somewhat painful. We'll see. We'll see what happens. What do you have in your pools dominating right now?
3 6s and a 5 in madness. I have a 5 in discipline, and I have a 4 and a 6 in exhaustion.
This wave of energy rises up and out. And you can sense that it is going to go across the city, but you're not even sure if you can control it.
I'm not even sure I can control myself anymore.
It's becoming practically its own thing. As it sweeps out. Your performance in a cascade across the Mad City. As the clock strikes 12.
As the clock strikes 12, I begin to transform and become another being of imperceivable size, of imperceivable beauty, of true rage and true compassion for everyone who doesn't show it. Those who lack compassion get nothing but my rage. And that is the energy I hold on to as I transform into the nightmare I'm destined to become.
You're having visions as this is happening. You can almost, for a brief moment, you can see along the lines of power that are issuing out from this performance. And you see, around the city, a number of notable individuals look up, and for a brief moment, they're looking directly at you. And they know.
There's a reckoning coming.
The broadcast knows. It's you probably, well, given its ties to this place, it probably knew early. But it seems amused. The crone knows. And she is fascinated.
She seems like the type that likes to bring justice to the wicked.
Briefly, you see Triplethwaite. He knows. He's narrowing his eyes and preparing.
He's the one I'm coming after first.
Briefly, before the vision from him fades, he snaps his fingers. And you start to hear the sound of drills. Perspective moves. Underground, the Wax King looks up. Thoughtfully. Looking a little concerned, but not for himself. Across the Necropolis. Certain cries, there are certain howls. The Mortician sniffs the air for a moment and nods, approvingly. And something else below the ground howls with delight. Oh, it knows where you are now. It's happy. Atop the grid, well, yes, atop the grid just sort of hums for a moment in time as it starts to reroute its program. In District 13, the taxman sits at his desk. He sort of nods for a moment, and with a giant head of attack, pulls a pin out and hurls it onto a map. You can only catch a slight glimpse of a map that's moving. Atop the re-education district, Mother Wen looks up. The surge meets her and stops.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And you see her look at you. And the look that she gives is very much like the look of a teacher. And you know, just sort of deep within it, very briefly, the look that she gives you is that look of, oh, you'd better not fuck this up. And then it passes.
I would never do anything to upset Mother Wen.
And DJ will pull things back just a hair to allow you to play atop it, whatever you wish. As this transformation completes, what do we see?
And it's a complete shift. She is no longer who or what she was. She is now I mean, how do I even describe it? There's just unfathomable weight behind her eyes now. Like she gained more understanding in this moment than she was able to throughout her entire living life. That she is no longer as naive, but her anger has grown deeper. Her essence is now pouring out from her. The aura grows, and you can feel the rage, but you can also still feel the compassion. And you can feel, in particular, the rage towards those who lack that compassion. And from those she's met, Triple Thwaite has the most to worry about.
Okay. So, as this performance concludes, I think we're perhaps even beginning to wind down just a little bit as we see this chapter starting to come to a close. But tell me, what is the host doing at this point?
Partway through the performance, the host stepped away from the club because it could hear the music everywhere it played, and it could feel the violent compassion in the air. And It is a parasite. It has its eyes and its ears and its little nodules here and there. And it is aware of the ones that you hunt and that hunt you. And it thought, well, humanity is fond of gift giving, so it went to find one of them. Those faceless little fucks, as you might call them, the ones that torment you, the ones that you wish to torment. And if the facilitator allows, it will bring one back to lay at your new feet as a gift.
Well, yeah, you basically can bring in one of the faceless workers, as they are. You see them. You see them struggling.
The host returns. It is black and silver, like metal. And it has claws again, like the first time you saw it. And it waits until you are ready to come down from the stage. And then it takes the faceless worker and slams it into the ground before you. And it looks at you. You are so beautiful.
As are you.
I shall give
Thank
you
you.
this. And one more thing. I am a liar. But I am also more. I am not capable of compassion or love as you define it. I do not judge the wicked because I have no perception of what is and is not wicked. Those that suffer, and yet,
your club still operates on a basis of consent until people give theirs.
I find it fascinating that ones of sentience are willing to give up control because they think something is attractive. Money, power, physical appearance.
I understand. It is something that is brought into their heads from a very young age. It is a mentality that is forced upon them, mostly through no fault of their own. But still, they want for that. They are enemies of mine. And as I bend down, I pick up the worker. Okay, die now. And just like set them off to the side and don't even pay attention to them after I tell them to die. And the energy that just flows into them is that of self-loathing, is that of suicidal ideation, is that of such hopeless despair that it strangles them without her having to do anything. And they just fall over dead.
It has no mouth, so it cannot scream.
Oh, how quaint. I can hear them screaming even when they can't breathe.
I can feel it in their energy, and it's delicious.
You asked for something, and I will deign to give it to you. And the host will step behind you and place one clawed hand across your stomach and the other across your right below the neck, across the collarbone, and will hug you close to its front. And if you allow it, will draw you back as the music plays and the sound forces the bodies to writhe. It will draw you away into the night of the club. And if you like, you may stay with it.
I don't think it has to draw her. I think once the host begins to pull her back, she picks up the host and tosses the host over her shoulder and walks them back.
You hear that brittle, broken sound again, like something that learned to laugh by listening to screams. And the last thing you might hear as you carry it away, for it finds this quite amusing. What shall I shout, little nightmare? Have you shed your human name, or shall you keep it?
Call me Vengeance.
Well then, Vengeance, let's go scream at the night.
Let's do it.
And I think that is a delightful place to bring this to a close. I have so many feelings. But
that was so fun.
Yes. So good. Oh my god. That was such a beautiful ride. It was beautiful. This whole thing, beautiful. So
did you like my character arc?
So much. Well, there it is, folks. We've made a new nightmare.
Yes. One that is determined to turn the world upside down.
Absolutely. Oh.
Not only that, but do you think it's possible this is the first time a nightmare put their transformation on display for all to see? Because that's
Everyone
gotta come with power.
Well, let's just say it's been a long time. Well, folks, we're gonna go ahead and do our outros, I think. I can't say enough about how good this was. We're going to go around and do our outros. You can feel free to tell folks, if you wish, you can tell them where they can find you, or feel free to plug anything you like, or just, any final thoughts you have about this session. We are going to start with Alyx. Alyx, thank you so much for coming back and hanging with us. And
thank you for having me.
For bringing everything you bring.
Seductive darkness. I'm gonna go with that.
Yes.
I am Alyx, they, and I was the host this evening. Thank you for letting me sit at your table. I had so much fun. I am but a blip on this great campaign and greatly enjoyed my moments with the cast. So thank you again. If folks enjoyed having me play, you can find me on Jim's channel, playing games with Jim usually. This is where I like to hang out because Jim knows all the best people.
Thanks so much. That was so good. I can't tell you how good that was. It was so good.
It was very good.
And we'll go ahead and head over to Krimsin.
Hey y'all, I've been Crimsin Galaxy, and again, that is Krimsin, because I'm not me without a little bit of sin. Pronouns they, them, she, they. I am your non-binary, trans feminine streamer and player. And soon, I will be starting up some casting calls of my own for a zombie apocalypse themed game. And I'm going to be starting with some one-shots from the very beginning of the zombie apocalypse. And we're going to be able to see how it progresses for a few different groups. And then after that, I'm going to be putting together a long-form play that jumps a little bit into the future that hopefully follows some of the faces that become familiar from the one-shots. As for where you can find me playing anytime soon, on Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, you'll be able to find me playing some Things from the Flood over on Party Wipe Games at 1 p.m. PST. On Thursday, I'm going to actually be doing a one-shot over on twitch.tv/nerdswithdice at 5 p.m. Pacific time. We're going to be playing Mall Kids, and that should be a super fun little time. It's going to be, yeah. And then on Monday, the 24th, we are going to be coming back with our Power Rangers Arcanines campaign at 6 p.m. PST over on twitch.tv/The Initiative Order. And this campaign has been one of the best, most fun things ever, just like the game that we just played now. It's so much, it's legit like all of the cheesiness, yet we're also badasses, and Power Rangers is super cheesy, corny, great, fun, justice-filled, fighters of monsters, and like honestly, it's just so dang good. Come check that out. And that is on the 2nd and 4th Monday of every month. Oh, also, this coming Saturday, we are going to be having a makeup session for our once a month game of a Monster of the Week game that we have going on over on twitch.tv/ Cybernation Uncensored, and that is going to be at noon Pacific. And yeah, that one's based on the 13 Ghosts movies very loosely. We're the team of ghost hunters that's trying to collect ghosts for a millionaire because he offered us an obscene amount of money. And where that wouldn't interest me in real life, this is a game and it's fun. So leave me alone. Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at sin_gal. You can find me here on Twitch and on Instagram at Crimsin_Galaxy_RPG. And it has been great being a part of the series. Seriously, Jim, this has been amazing. And I love that I got to bring my character's arc to its finale.
This has been so good. Just getting to watch Katrina just go on this journey to like become fully realized in a way that she absolutely wants to be. Seeing her overcoming these struggles that she's had to deal with to actually get to this point. It has been masterful, and I am so glad you joined us. This has been so good.
Thank you. I tried, but I don't know if it's masterful. I just wanted to play. I don't know. My brain has ideas sometimes.
Oh, success.
Thank
Awesome.
you. Seriously, thank you.
Thank you. Well, folks, this I love doing sessions like this, especially when we have the guest nightmares on, is just to be able to actually just watch what they do and incorporate them. And it's just one of the things I love most about RPGs is just being able to bounce off of things and create more story, going back and forth. And it's always awesome when when we get to do stuff like this. And this was so good, and is going to have so many implications. I can't even say. Is there that's the thing. It's that there are certain properties of this place where you can broadcast things across the city. And there's a reason for that. And there's so much. There's just so much. That's all I can say. There's so much. But let me see if I can briefly come down to earth and talk about various things. I'm Jim Ryan. You can find me at OtherDoc on Twitch, Twitter, Hive, Mastodon, and most other social media platforms. Where I'm not OtherDoc, I am Jim Yes That Jim. My website is jimyesthatjim.com, where you can find my Geek Observation podcast and links to my various other podcasts, audio dramas, writings, and such. Down below, you can access my website, social media links, YouTube channel, and various other things. On Monday, we have the other group that is still there. They're a little earlier in their journey, in their arc. The Frozen Soul. They made their way into the Mad City last time, and they survived the air fort, the place where all the airplanes have crashed into that roof, and they are now in the Garden District, having to deal with the Veggie Mob, and all of the. And so they're going to be very shortly dealing with giant carrots and a very large and upset cabbage. So it'll be amusing, I think, to see where that goes as they're trying to track down a friend of theirs who is lost in the city somewhere. On Tuesdays, we have our game of Electric Bastionland that is run by Sarah, who in this game has been portraying Izzy or Isabel, who became a nightmare very early on. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to do some treasure hunting. On Thursday this week, if we can get it together, hopefully, Lucci will be back, and we will continue playing ancient adventure games together with our Abject Adventure Gamery series. We're going to start tackling Zork 3 if we possibly can, so I think that's going to be a lot of fun. And then Friday, 1 week from today, we're going to have what I think may very well be the finale of the boiling point. We've reached a certain boiling point this evening, and now we're going to see if everyone else boils over next time. So they find that they can make it out of the city, but a concert has to be played first. So it's just a question of meeting that condition and how fast can they do it, and can they do it before the clock strikes 13. I will be very interested to see how that goes. Well, this has been so good. This has been ridiculously good. I can't adequately say how good this has been. If you can imagine how good a good thing is, then just double that, and it's been at least that good. So we're gonna go ahead and probably we're gonna send a raid over to somebody. I see Trooper is streaming right now. They've been streaming for a little while, but we may go over and say hi to them, see if we can catch the end of their stream, possibly. If not, we'll jump over to someone else. But if you feel so inclined, feel free to hang on and say hi to them with us. That will be when we hit the end card. In the meantime, folks, thank you all very much for watching. Take care, and we'll catch you next time. Farewell.